Okay, I'm going to be doing some beef ribs on the smoker today. First thing I wanted to show you is just how I prep my beef ribs. I've already got this started, but the first thing I want to do, there's some debate, but I think it's better if you do pull the membrane off. And all I do is, you want to just loosen it up, kind of get your fingers under there, and you can start separating the membrane from the rest of the rack here, and then you just tear it. Like I said, I've already done like half of it, but I just wanted to show you how easy it is. Once you get it started, you just kind of tear it right off. That's trash. After that's done, you can see there's some kind of blobs of fat here and there. And I'm just going to, scrape these off, get rid of the excess fat. Okay, I've got all the, like I said, the excess fat trimmed away. And now what I'm going to do is start applying my my rib, or my rub. When I'm, looking for beef ribs, I want it to be nice and marbled like this one is. The extra fat renders away and makes it more tender. I actually was able to talk my butcher into trimming this off of a nice prime rib roast for me. First thing you need is a binder. You can use anything from like Pam, a non-stick spray. On pork ribs I use mustard, whatever, I'm using Worcestershire sauce. I just think Worcestershire sauce and beef, they go together hand in hand. It really accents the flavor, and it kind of makes a nice little, I don't want to use the word flavor profile to use that all over the Food Network, but a nice little layer of flavor underneath the rub. Not that I love the Food Network, I just think that that word's getting beaten to death. I mean, you see it on barbecue pitmasters, and flavor profile just sort of came out of nowhere. Okay, got my Worcestershire on there. Now I'm going to apply my dry rub. This is just a real basic dry rub. It's got brown sugar, it's got some chili powder, it's got some paprika, some regular sugar, dehydrated onions, dehydrated garlic. It just, again, it complements the beef flavor really good. Just keep a nice liberal amount of this stuff on. After I'm done with this rub, I'm going to put this thing in a 2-gallon bag, and I'm just going to kind of let it marinate in its own juices when let this rub kind of will melt down in the bag. All right, I got some loose bones. I'm going to do the same thing too that my butcher actually just gave me. And like I said, I'm going to let this set for about an hour with the rub on, and then we'll get it on the grill. And I'm going to smoke this for 3 hours, and then I'm going to foil it and then finish it off. So we'll go over that when I get that going. All right, I got my smoker preheated now. It's running at 230, and I'm going to keep the cook at 230. I've got the stoker system on there, so I'm going to be able to maintain that temperature pretty consistently. And right now I'm starting out smoking with some apple. I'll probably layer on maybe a little pecan or hickory a little later. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the ribs on. All right, like I said, preheated now. You see the temperature probe there for the stoker. Just going to throw on these little ribs first. These are just loose ribs. Like I said, my butcher gave me these. So I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. Big slab. Alright, and as you can also see, I have a disposable loaf pan there filled with water. Just keeps some humidity in my pit during the cook. So I'm going to shut the lid here, and I'm not going to check it again for another 3 hours, and then I'm going to foil it. Okay, the ribs have been smoking now for 3 hours, and I'm going to pull them off and we're going to foil them. See what they look like here. Oh yeah, they look good. So we're going to get them all wrapped up now. Okay, now we're going to start the foiling process. I'm going to put the ribs meat side down on the foil, and I'm going to pour in a 1/4 cup of liquid. And what this is, it's 3 parts apple cider and 1 part apple cider vinegar. So I'm just going to get these nice and wet in here and wrap them up. Get these back on the pit. You hear a lot of people talking about the 3-to-1 or 3-2-1. They've been smoking for 3 hours without being wrapped. I'm going to put them in. I'm going to check them in 1 hour. If they're tender enough for me, after 1 hour, then I'm going to start the finishing process. If not, then I may keep them for up to 2 hours. So don't get all hung up on the 3-2-1 thing. You don't want these things to be so tender that they're falling off the bone. That bugs the heck out of me when I hear that. You want it to be tender but still with a little bit of a tug. So anyway, I'm going to get these back on the pit. Okay, the ribs have been foiled now for an hour, and what I'm going to do is check for tenderness. Like I said, it isn't always 2 hours. Sometimes it may be just 1. And what I do is I use just the probe here. This is one of the small meat thermometer probes, and I'm not using it to test the temperature. I'm using it to test the tenderness, like I would use a toothpick. And if you don't have one of these, a toothpick works fine. So let's give it a look here. They look great. Yeah, it's definitely done. I would not want to go any longer than this. The meat's pulling away from the bone here. Like I said, I don't like them to to where the meat's falling off the bone. That's just not good. So I'm going to go ahead and unfoil these, and then I'm going to start the finishing process. Alright, I basted the backs already with this barbecue sauce. I whipped up shortly after I put these things on. Just going to baste the top of these ribs. 30 minutes later, I'm going to come in and baste them again. Just kind of get the sugars and everything to start caramelizing in this sauce. Just a real basic sauce, and I actually have a blog that I post the recipe for this sauce on my blog, so I'll put the address up there if you want to check it out. And I usually tweak it a little bit when I do my cooks. I'll add things like fruit juices or even spiced rum. It's a pretty basic sauce. Alright. Finishing process is complete. Basically, I glazed them with my barbecue sauce. I basted a total of 2 times. Once when I first unfoiled them, and then 30 minutes later, and as you can see, it's got a nice caramelization to it, but it's not burned. So I'm going to pull them off the rack now and just let it rest for a few minutes before we slice them up. Alright, and for the final test we have Garrett, my son Garrett, who's 6 years old, and he's probably one of the most picky eaters in all of North America. So if he likes them, I know they're good. Go ahead, Garrett, take a bite. And what do you think?
I think it's the best rib ever.
You do?
Uh-huh.
Thumbs up? Alright, they're good.